I sat in Hope Pastures, scrolling my mind, traversing the memories of 2,000 years. A bright light shattered the scroll, and I fell in a trance. I was transported to Palestine, and a little Jewish boy led me backward through the corridor of time. Lo and behold, what I heard and saw! It was winter in Palestine. The mountainous region of Palestine is formed by two parallel lines of the mountains of Lebanon. A coastal plain lies along the west, bordering the Mediterranean Sea. The Jordan River, the Sea of Galilee, and the Dead Sea occupy a long, deep valley between the mountains. There are several mountain ranges: Mount Hermon, Carmel, Tabor, Moriah, Gilboa, Nebo, Pisgah, Zion, and Olive. Although the land is very rough, the region is naturally fertile. To the south is a desert region called the Negev. There are many caves, the most famous being the cave of Adullam. The Mediterranean coast is fruitful. The interior plain of the Jordan, robbed of moisture by the mountains, is a desert. The area around the plain of the Jordan, the Dead Sea, is rocky and barren. There are many natural wells and fountains, such as the well of Bethlehem and the well of Samaria, where Abram used to water his flocks, and the Philistines once suffered a severe defeat. Yeah. The coastal climate of Palestine is warm and wet from the winds of the Mediterranean Sea, which bring a lot of rain in the winter season. In the northern part of Palestine and the Judah Hills, there is snow in winter due to the cold winds from Asia, but the Jordan Valley always remains warm. The rain comes in winter and ceases in spring, and the summer, especially in the Jordan Valley, is hot and dry. On a certain dark and rainy night, I fell in a trance at my home in Hope Pastures. I, a Jamaican mystic, was led by a little Jewish boy to Bethlehem in Palestine to meet the man of all ages for the time. Judea lay sleeping beneath the troubled sky, while weary shepherds watched their flocks against thieves, hungry wolves, wild dogs, and mountain lions. Judea slept fitfully, because, like on any other night, there was no peace in the land. Judea, a region of biblical Canaan, the promised land, taken by force from the indigenous people called the Canaanites, suffered hundreds of years of successive conquest and oppression. Judea is mostly desert, but olive, grape, figs, orange, and grain grow in fertile places. Sheep rearing is a staple occupation. Warrior King David came from Judea. He had joined all the tribes of Israel into one kingdom of Israel and established Jerusalem, captured from the Jebusites, as his capital. The kingdom was divided into Judea to the north, south, and Israel to the north. After the death of Solomon the wise, the Babylonians captured Jerusalem and carried away its inhabitants as captives to Babylon. Cyrus, the great king of Persia, conquered Babylon and restored the Jews to Jerusalem. Then the Romans came. Abijam rested his rear back against a rock face, whose overhang barely provided shelter from the rain. Close to him on his right huddled his father-in-law, Aaron Isaac. On his left, his teenage son Eleazar. Aaron Isaac, bronzed, massive, and heavily braided, had built a small fire. Eleazar pulled his coarse woolen garment tightly round him and squatted near the fire. Yet he was shivering from the cold, goosebumps breaking out on his naked arms and legs, while his strong teeth chattered. His father did not seem bothered by the rain and the cold. "Those stinking Romans, herd of sheep," Abijam rumbled. "Those filthy Romans, Gentile dogs, savage animals, that's what they are, with a heathen tongue, they graven images and eagles of brass." He took his flute from his shepherd's bag, fitted his fingers and placed it to his lips, then changed his mind and replaced it in his bag. He took out a thick circular loaf of white wheat bread instead, and a lump of cheese. He broke the bread into 3 and gave a piece to each of his companions. They each broke a piece of the cheese. Aaron Isaac took a wine skin from his bag. They took turns drinking the wine between mouthfuls of bread and cheese. "Thieves and murderers, that's what they are," Abijam bitterly swore. "We are oppressed too long. Remember Maccabeus?" "Yea," Aaron Isaac growled in reply. "It was long before our time. We need a hero like Judas Maccabeus to drive the infidels from our land," Abijam angrily continued. "The prophets are only making promises that Yahweh will soon free us. Freedom is taking a long time. How much longer must we suffer? Now we are going to be taxed to maintain the armies of Rome." "Who was Maccabeus' father?" Eliezer stammered, his teeth still chattering despite the fire. Abijam drew his son closer, the warmth of his body radiating heat into the boy's. Abijam's thick woolen robe stank of sweat and the rankness of rams, but the boy was used to that. He also stank. The protective embrace of his father against the cold was more important to him. The boy's grandfather, Aaron Isaac, rearranged the twigs in the fire and fanned the flames to rise and roar, generating warmth against the murkiness of the dark and dripping rain. "Maccabeus," Abijam grunted. "My father told me about him when I was a little boy. His father told him, and his grandfather before him." Abijam paused to organize reminiscences of his father. Maccabeus was a hero and a patriot. So was his father Mattathias before him. Mattathias was the high priest of Judea. When the Syrians subdued Judea, Antiochus, their king, tried to destroy the worship of Yahweh and the one true God. Mattathias fled with his 5 sons and many people to the mountains, where they waged war against the Syrians. When he died, his eldest son Judas Maccabeus became leader of the struggle. He defeated the Syrians in many battles, tore down their false gods and altars, restored Solomon's temple and the worship of Yahweh. Your great-great-grandfather Joshua fought alongside him against the Syrians. They both died side by side in battle. Now we have no great hero to drive the Roman dogs from our midst. He spat at the fire in contempt of the Romans. The Maccabees were a priestly people who fought against oppression, but now the priests are worse than the Romans, Aaron Isaac grumbled. Yea, Abijah replied, they too are oppressing their own people. Annas and Caiaphas are Roman lackeys. They bow and scrape to the Roman procurator who calls them citizens of Rome. Just 2 moons past, that little boy Simeon, the son of Cephas, who sells fruits and vegetables by the temple gate, and Ephraim his cousin, decided to peep behind the temple curtains to see what Yahweh was doing in the Holy of Holies. Ephraim got cold feet, but Simeon crept under the drapes. The Holy of Holies! Aaron Isaac shouted in horror. That was an abomination. What did he see? Did he die before telling what he saw? No, he didn't die, Abijah replied, roaring with laughter. Simeon told his cousin what he saw. His cousin told his mother what Simeon told him what he saw. She told Rebekah, Simeon's mother, what her son told her, as Simeon said he saw, and she told her husband Cephas, whom she had heard, what she had heard about their son. And Simeon is still alive? What did he see? And Isaac asked. Abijam cleared his throat and gazed at the fire before speaking. No, he didn't die. In fact, he disobeys his father's command to keep it a secret, offers to whisper it to everyone he meets for a small fee. I'm surprised you haven't heard of him. What did he see? Tell us, and Isaac impatiently asked. An excited Eliezer joined his father in a vociferous plea. Ephraim told his mother that Simeon said that he saw the high priest, his swollen, ulcerated foot propped up on the mercy seat, and he was trimming his beard with a sacrificial knife and drinking plenty of wine from a golden cup. Abijah said, laughing with a sneer. Part 2 of this story will be told very soon. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this first part of the story, the shepherd's story.